Welcome back to the Boss Mode walkthrough series. We are doing Chapter 6, Rotting Woods Champion Mode. We're going to be running with the Undead team. I'm doing things a little bit different with this particular video just to help offer some insight for those who don't have a really strong Undead team. I want to show some of the actual mechanics rather than just auto running through it. We saw the stages with the three normal ones that there's very little to worry about with these. So what I wanted to do with this one here is to help you play it safe. And the reason I chose this particular video for it is because the champion mode mechanic is a no potion mechanic. So there's really no room for error here in terms of actually completing this dungeon and getting to the very end. So right off the bat, you should always use Vigilance with Hansuke. Anytime it's up, use it. This will help soak up some of the damage on both Braum and Zom, and really should prevent a kill attack on them as well. And even if it ends up killing Hansuke, you're going to benefit from his honorable death trait, and he'll come back in a couple of turns anyways. It'll give you a chance to recoup a little bit and just process what's going on. You'll want to take stock of your friend heroes before you start this one, particularly if you don't have the strongest of undead team to do this. And the reason being is you really want a friend who has Emily. You want a friend who has someone like Nub Nub, so you can get some heals and you can some revives. That's the only way that you're going to be able to bring those guys back if they die is from Emily, since you can't use potions. So the goal here when you're running this is to use your skills whenever you have them up. Now it'll be slightly skewed in my direction because I have such high level epics, max epic on Yorick and Hansuke. So the heals and defensive buffs that I'm getting are going to be more frequent than what you may get. Plus my runes and just hero power in general is significantly higher than a lot of people just starting this. So the damage that I'm taking may not be indicative of what you're taking. But I suggest anytime you get down to a couple guys left like that, use Braum's AoE when it's up. Use your skills whenever you have them. The general consensus when you're first starting boss mode, use every skill you have when you have it so that you can secure those kills. I'm going to try and follow that routine to the letter here. So anytime Yorick's defensive buff comes up, I'm going to use that attack so that I can buff team defense. Anytime Vigilance is up on Hansuke, I'm going to use that. And anytime we're at risk of needing some sort of heals, I'm going to do that with both Braum and Zom. The understanding is that if you're lower level or lower hero power, you're probably going to get to the boss room either not at full health or partial health. You want to make sure that you get there fairly unscathed. That's why I'm using a heal here. I know I personally don't need it with my team, but some other teams, when they get to this point here, you may want to use this heal on a corpse rather than attacking. I know that I could attack any of these guys here and it'll probably kill them. If your Zom is not that strong, you may want to use Taste for Brains on corpses. If you're worried about what's going to actually heal, use Braum's heal instead, since it's going to be a guaranteed heal. If you're going to use Taste for Brains on a living opponent, you have to be prepared for the fact that it may not kill them. So if you're going to use Taste for Brains and you're lower level or hero power, use it on a corpse, guarantee yourself the health return, and then wait for Yorick to do his next epic attack. So we used our heal there just to show that when they get lower in health, it's safer to use that attack. Guarantee you get yourself some health back because you're going to get the kill. But now we're to the point where we want to make sure we use our defensive attack from Yorick. Protect yourself at all costs. Some of these things you just don't need, and you, like I said, you want to have your friend heroes as a buffer as well. A lot of times Hansuke is not gonna, give an epic attack, so you want that extra defense whenever you can get it. As mentioned in one of the previous videos, you should really focus fire on any target that has wild growth. Those guys can do some serious damage if you let them hang around. So anytime the wild growth shows up, definitely take a couple of swings at that guy and get him taken care of. The only thing that you don't need to worry about attack-wise with Yorick, his defense lowering one, that one you can kind of use as needed. But this vigilance and his defensive buff, those are the ones that you want to use those every time they're up. If you're really in a desperate situation, you can use somebody like a friend's Echo to get a couple of energy back. Um, that's not really necessary at all times. Usually, the Undead team does pretty well without energy. It depends on what your particular needs are. If you're getting good epic attacks, you should be in a pretty good boat here. So, as we saw with previous runs, we can actually use Mark for Death on the boss. So, you should usually save that with Yorick, because unless you use it in the first room, it's probably going to be on cooldown unless it takes you quite a while. So, get a Marked for Death on there, and then you can use Friend Heroes to try and supplement this. Um, so, I'm going to use Yorick again, and unfortunately, it doesn't get as lucky this time. Sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. It seems to be about 50-50. I rarely ever get them both marked at the same time. It would have been nice to have two marks out there, but you can't use any AoEs anyways. I know my Braum and Zom are going to handle these guys pretty well. But the main idea here is that you want to keep those guys alive. Since you don't have potions, you need to have a plan for if somebody dies, or worst case scenario, a couple of guys die. I saved. I didn't kill the blue one with Zom. I figured he probably would because I wanted to use Braum's healing attack because I knew that with Mark for Death it was going to do a ton of damage and it was likely going to refill everybody's health. So you got to also play smart rather than just grinding out. You do want to think things through in terms of when and how you use your skills. Anytime you can use any type of amplified damage, whether it be reduced defense, marked for death, or just some other type of damage enhancer, if you can heal with Braum's Team Leech, you're going to get a ton of health back there. So it's very smart to do that. So we're just about done with this purple guy here. There's really nothing he can do. We got a bunch of attacks coming now. There's no way that he can actually survive it. So that concludes the champion mode mechanic with the Undead team. Thanks for watching. Please stop by again.